In today's world, where everything moves at lightning speed, patience might feel like a lost art. We live in an age of instant gratification. One click, and food arrives at our door. One tap, and we have endless entertainment. One swipe, and relationships begin or end. And yet, despite this convenience, stress, anxiety, and burnout are at historic highs. The World Health Organization reports that over 301 million people suffer from anxiety worldwide, making it the most common mental health condition of our era. Clearly, faster doesn't always mean happier. This is where patience comes in, not as a soft skill, but as a transformative force grounded in science, logic, and human biology. Patience is not about doing nothing. It is about doing the right thing at the right time, with control, resilience, and vision. And when we understand its power, we realize that patience doesn't just change us internally, it changes the environment around us. Let's begin with what happens inside the body when we are impatient. Neuroscience shows that impatience activates the amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system. This floods the body with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, preparing us for fight or flight. Useful if you're facing a tiger, but disastrous if you're stuck in traffic, waiting for an email, or trying to build a long-term career. Chronic impatience keeps the nervous system on constant alert. Over time, this leads to high blood pressure, weaker immunity, and even impaired memory. A study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that people who score high in impatience are 30% more likely to develop heart disease compared to their more patient peers. Now contrast that with patience. Patience activates the prefrontal cortex, the rational and planning center of the brain. Functional MRI scans show that when people practice patience, activity increases in this area, improving self-control and decision-making. In simple terms, patience shifts power from the emotional brain to the thinking brain. This is why patient individuals are not only calmer, but also make smarter long-term choices. The evidence doesn't stop there. The famous Stanford Marshmallow experiment, where children were offered one marshmallow immediately or two marshmallows if they could wait 15 minutes, has been repeated and expanded for decades. The results are astonishing. Children who showed patience and delayed gratification went on to have higher SAT scores, better health, lower addiction rates, and greater financial success in adulthood. Later studies even linked patience to improved brain connectivity in areas associated with future planning. In other words, patience is not just a personality trait. It is a predictor of life outcomes. Consider also the workplace. Research by Gallup shows that 67% of employees worldwide feel disengaged at work, often because of stress and poor leadership. Yet studies reveal that patient leaders, those who don't rush decisions, who listen before reacting, foster higher trust, creativity, and retention in their teams. Patience, in this sense, becomes a competitive advantage. A calm mind in a storm creates not just stability, but progress. Let's step back and think logically. Life is full of uncertainty. Impatience is the attempt to force control over what we cannot control. But patience is alignment with reality, a recognition that growth, healing, success, and relationships all take time. If you plant a seed today, you cannot demand a tree tomorrow. The logic is simple: everything meaningful requires waiting. Even our biology supports this truth. The human body regenerates skin cells every 27 days, red blood cells every 120 days, and bones every 10 years. Nature itself works through patience. Evolution, the grandest process of all, unfolds over millions of years. Yet in our personal lives, we expect overnight transformation. Isn't it ironic? The very fabric of life is built on patience, but we treat patience as optional. Now, here's where it becomes truly fascinating. Studies on emotional contagion show that our moods spread like viruses. When one person remains calm in a stressful situation, cortisol levels drop not just in that person, but in those around them. A patient parent raises more resilient children. A patient teacher creates a safer space for learning. A patient leader inspires trust and loyalty. Your patience is not just your strength, it is your gift to the world around you. Let's bring in some numbers to anchor this point. A 2012 study in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that patient people are more likely to experience gratitude, hope, and life satisfaction. Another study showed that cultivating patience can reduce perceived stress levels by nearly 40%. And in relationships, couples who rate themselves as patient report 22% higher levels of satisfaction and stability. These are not small improvements. These are life-changing differences, backed by data. So how do we build patience in an impatient world? Science gives us practical strategies. Micro-delays, for example, when you feel the urge to react instantly, pause for just 10 seconds. Studies show this brief pause can cut emotional reactivity in half. Mindful breathing for 2 minutes lowers cortisol by up to 16%, according to Harvard Medical School. Reframing waiting as training helps the brain see value in delay. And gratitude journaling shifts focus from what we lack now to what we already have, naturally strengthening long-term patience. Here's the intellectual beauty of patience: it's not passive, it's active. It is choosing discipline over impulse, growth over instant pleasure, vision over distraction. Albert Einstein once remarked, "It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer." That's patience. The world's greatest inventions, discoveries, and art are the products of minds that refuse to rush. So here's the truth: patience is not weakness. It is resilience. It is intelligence. It is strategy. It is the secret to living not just a longer life, but a happier, more fulfilled one. And yet, here's the paradox. Even when we know patience is good for us, making the patient choice, the right choice, often feels incredibly hard. Why do our brains resist what's best for us? Why do we sabotage long-term success for short-term comfort? That's the question we'll explore in our next episode: why making the right choice is so hard. Stay tuned, because understanding that will unlock the second half of this journey. This is Global Mindset University. Thank you for your time, and remember, patience is power.
I agree, patience isn't weakness, it's power, resilience, and intelligence. And it might be the missing key to your personal happiness. In the next video we will look into why making the right choice is so hard. Don't miss it! Subscribe to Global Mindset University and join us on the journey of personal growth, success, and global wisdom.
Break a leg!